you think has the most stacked wrestling lineup from top to bottom? I'm going to give you my top 5, starting with Cornell. Big Red lost only 2 starters. Granted, they were national qualifiers, but they are returning a bunch of All-Americans. Yanni D, Vito Arujau, and Johnny Lowe. The great news is Yanni D, he's basically a guaranteed win, going for his 4th NCAA title this year. And on top of that, they have 2 round of 12 guys in Luis Fernandez and Julian Ramirez. What it means when you make the round of 12 means you're 1 round away from placing at the national championships. Next on this list, I initially had the Iowa Hawkeyes, but I decided to bump them up to higher on this list because of the recent influx of transfers. So I'll tell you where they are in just a second. But Iowa is one of only 5 teams to have all 10 of their starters ranked by Intermat. The other teams are Mizzou, Oklahoma State, Lehigh, and Nebraska. And although the next team doesn't have all 10 guys ranked, they do have 9. And I think the Ohio State Buckeyes are just a step up from Cornell. The Buckeyes are returning 4 national placers, 2 blood round guys, and a few new potential All-Americans. In fact, at 125 pounds, Malik Heisselman is one of my top 5 guys due to make the stand. But other than him, you of course have Sammy Sasso, who hopefully this year is recharged and ready to make the finals again at 149. And Carson Hartslett at 165, he could go anywhere from winning the whole thing to maybe not even placing. That's just how tough that weight is. But my favorite part of this lineup is seeing the potential of Patty Gallagher. He's a new incoming freshman and the #1 recruit of 2021. And next at number 3 is where I decided to put the Iowa Hawkeyes. I'll tell you why I didn't put them at number 2 in just a second. Of course, the best thing going for the Iowa Hawkeyes is Spencer Lee at 125. He's returning this season and he makes the lineup what it is. Just like Yanni for Cornell, Spencer's a guaranteed win in every dual meet and at the national championships going for his 4th title. But it gets better because Jacob Warner is back at 197 pounds and there's a very high likelihood that he makes the national finals again and maybe even wins a title. I even think it's possible that the Hawkeyes can win at more than 1 weight this year. Heck, look at transfer Real Woods at 141 or Anthony Cassiope at heavyweight. Both of those guys are legitimate threats. And the rest of their lineup is just plain solid. Like at 133 pounds, you have Shriver and Teskey, who's recently transferred in, likely facing off in a wrestle-off, just showing the depth of the Hawkeyes. But the reason they're not number 2 is simply based on the national champions. Penn State is the only team to be returning multiple national champions. They have 4. Roman Bravo Young, Carter Sirachi, Aaron Brooks, and Max Dean. Plus you throw in Greg Kirkfleet, who's a top 3 threat at heavyweight, and that's one heck of a lineup. I do believe that from top to bottom, Iowa's lineup may be a little bit more airtight, but the number of national champions that Penn State has, who are basically guaranteed wins in dual meets and scoring bonus points at the national championships, just shows how stacked the lineup is. I also think that Penn State has a lot of room for growth in their freshmen. Top-ranked recruits like Shane Van Ness at 149 and Alex Facundo at 165 could end up helping out the lineup tremendously. We know that Kale and staff are great at launching freshmen into success. So if Penn State's number 2, who the heck is number 1? Well, if you've been reading my email newsletter, you'd already know how stacked this next lineup is. As a matter of fact, in the offseason, I've been going through all the top 20 lineups and giving a detailed breakdown. Like on Mizzou's 2023 team is unbelievable. And I say that because all 9 of their national qualifiers are returning, and this includes 165 pounds national champion Keegan O'Toole. While they have only 1 national champion compared to Penn State's 4, I do think that their lineup is nearly flawless, and they do have a lot of upside. That is, if they can overcome the curse. Again, if you'd read my email newsletter, you know that 6 of Mizzou's wrestlers have made the blood round at some point in their careers, but not advanced to place. But if those guys get over the hump, the Tigers can realistically go from just a top 10 team to a national title contending team. And don't even get me started about how tough they are in dual meets. Now, if you want to see those top 20 team previews, I've linked up an article down in the description below that'll take you to a link to check them out. If you like any of those individual newsletters, I recommend you scroll to the bottom and hit subscribe to be updated with weekly college wrestling news, updates, and discussion.